Heads up, people, heads up, 5-minute quickie time, evolution or revolution. What's it going to be? How radical can you think? How counterintuitive can you think? Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. Because I do and I don't, and I don't and I do. Have a listen, and we'll dive deeply into this subject. But not that long, but it's good. It's not big, but it's a goodie.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, my little FMQers. It's Paul here from Personal Development Unplugged, the 5-minute quickie podcast, which always lasts a bit longer, doesn't it? And hopefully my voice is going to be okay. I'm still not well. Anyway, that's got nothing to do with it. I want to talk to you about let's being radical today. Let's be radical. Let's think counterintuitively. Aren't they? That's what we hear. I'll start that again. Isn't that what we always hear? Let's be radical. Let's think of something completely different. Let's be counterintuitive. Yeah, they're great things. Great things to say. Great things to think. You know, let's change everything. Change the whole way that we think. And you see, we're told this may be the only way to grow, the only way to succeed. You know, let's go up the revolution. And you see, that's what this podcast's about. Is it revolution or is it evolution? So what do you agree? What do you agree? Yeah, do you agree? Do you agree that everything has to be thrown away and let's get really radical to change our business, change the way we act in the world, change the way we deal with our clients, how we use our career, you know, counterintuitive. Let's think of that one little thing. You see, I do agree. And yet again, I don't agree. And then I will agree. And then I won't agree. And you're going to probably say to me, WTF, Cluffy. That's Willing to Fail, by the way, not what you were thinking. Great book called Willing to Fail. But anyway, that's beside the point. But you know, I do and I don't. And I'd like you to think about it. Because, well, let's take a look. Let's dive a little deeper on this. Let's look at the don't agree side. You see, to me, when people just go, I'm going to be totally radical about this, I'm going to change everything. I've seen too many examples of people crashing and burning. It's as if they are an accident waiting to happen. You know, and it's too much too soon. And if it's about a business, maybe it's too much too soon for your clients. And all that rapport that you've built with them is destroyed because they can't keep up with you. And also what I find is some people, when they want to go radical, let's get counterintuitive, they don't think it through. They just think this is going to work because it's totally radical to the way I've been working and thinking. It's totally counterintuitive to the whole way that everything else is successful. And you see, doing it only because it's radical, doing it only because it's counterintuitive, I feel that's not the way to go. And that's where I'm falling on that line. I don't agree. But we've got to look at the other side, haven't we? And let's look at the agreement side of let's be radical, let's be counterintuitive. You see, to me, I believe thinking in another direction, thinking from another's perspective, thinking outside the box, thinking counterintuitively is absolutely smack on. Because you develop new behaviors in thinking. You enrich and expand and exercise that muscle we call a brain. And we develop a way of thinking. So we're not stuck in that box. We're not stuck in just one way of thinking. This is the only way. And that's some of my problem with other people being so radical. This is now the only way. The other way that used to be successful is no longer successful. Yes, it is. The old way is still successful, but you can change it. You can mold it. You can manipulate it. You can change yourself in that way. Because if you remember a long time ago, on one of my FMQs, I talked about, and I can't remember the guy's name, I'm sure it's something like Cosmo or something like that. He gave this talk about spending 5% of your time, maybe 10% of your time, not thinking in the way that you would normally think, but think way out there, completely off limits or off the grid, thinking of everything which you could do but no one's ever thought before, and really going wild with that thought process. And if you can do that and then review what you've done, so you're thinking uncritically, and then you can become critical. You can't be creative and be critical at the same time. That's the Disney technique. Or it's not the Disney technique. Disney technique is let's let the creative part of you do all your work first, nothing else but creativity. And then when that's done, the critic can come in and have a look to see how well it's going to go. And you go backwards and forwards. So I think there's so much opportunity for you as a developing, evolving human being to create your own revolution. So I think it's evolution to create a revolution. We evolve and create a plan. And that can be totally radical. It can be totally counterintuitive. But it's evolved through clear thinking. It's looking at the downsides and mitigating those pitfalls and looking at the results that you could get and enhancing those results. And then we educate our friends, if it's personal development and enhancement in yourself, or it's our clients. We educate our clients to bring them with us. We keep that rapport. So that's why I was saying, yes, I do agree, but I don't agree, but I do agree, and I don't, and WTF. But the thing is, I really do agree, I think, if we can do it in a structured way, and we really think and deep dively on the results that could happen, so we can make sure that we get the best results of our thinking processes, and we don't contain our thinking processes to only one way. So it doesn't matter, even if you go, well, being counterintuitive is the only way. No, it isn't. It's just another way. And as long as we explore all those ways, we can evolve and become the revolution ourselves. So it's not either or. And that was my note at the top. It's both. It can be and it can't be. But we have genuine flexibility in our thinking process, and a way of becoming dissociated from those thoughts. So the emotion goes and we can make clear decisions and then massive action and make, if it was radical, we educate people and bring them along and bring them on board with us and create great changes. If it's counterintuitive, we still make great changes, but we evolve by bringing people with us. Education. And then as normal, then when we do that, we become that shining example and show people, our friends, how it's possible to think in so many different ways. And they can share in our success of thinking. And that muscle inside your head is being exercised so wonderfully well. It's being stretched. You're being stretched to come up with some wonderful, creative, like Walt Disney. Your imagination then becomes rampant. Do like a bit of rampancy around here. So anyway, I just wanted to have a chat with you about that, just so you could, have a think. Just maybe look at yourself. If it's personal development you're really into, look at ways you could be a little bit more radical, could be more counterintuitive. Look to see the pitfalls and mitigate them. Look to see the positives and enhance them. If it's your business, exactly the same thing. Look at what other people aren't doing. And there's sometimes a good reason why they're not doing it, because the reason they're not doing it because they're really useless. They don't work. But there are other things that your creative mind can come up with. So you spend that 5 to 10% of the time thinking of absolutely wild and wonderful ways that could create a new future. Because that's how the future of this little planet Earth is going to develop, through people like you thinking in such a different, wonderful way. There you go. Soapbox over. Enjoy this? Hope you did. If you did, the old thing, share it, please. If you would, please share it right now. Go on. Share it right now. And maybe just sit down. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast And if you have, you haven't. If you haven't, please do. But if you have now, please put a little review up. It will help sharing the word. And I do get to see the reviews, and there's not that many, but there's lots of people who subscribed. So hopefully you love what I'm doing, and we can grow together. So enjoy. Just have more fun than you can stand. And I'm going to throw a little bit of talk at the end just to get your creative juices going. Okay? And until next time, it's old Cluffy Boy. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye now. If you're suffering from things like anger, excessive anger in your life, too much sadness that keeps recurring and recurring, fear of anything, or just grieving too much about loss, maybe you're jealous, or maybe your self-confidence it's never high enough, or like your self-esteem, that's never high enough, and it should be. And you shouldn't have to suffer through anger, sadness, fear, grief, jealousy. Do you know what? I hadn't thought about this for a little while, but why don't you come and work with me? Because, I've told you before that I work online, I do coaching, I do therapy online, but I've never really thought about offering it directly to you. So why not? Don't listen to what other people say when they say, things take such a long time, because they don't. 2-3 sessions is generally all that's needed to get rid of some of the biggest problems in people's lives. I see it day in, day out with my clients. So if that's something you can consider, because I do know this, that we always put things off. We put things off, and then we'll go to that bit where we go, oh, if only I did. So here's the thing. Imagine that putting off has gone by, and you've decided to send me an email at feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com saying, hi Paul, I've got this issue, I'd like to work with you, and here's my telephone number, here's my email address. And the thing is, what would happen is we get in contact over the internet, online. We do an initial consultation. It doesn't take very long to make sure that we're a good fit and make sure you're really comfortable with me. I know you've listened to me a lot, but you really want to see the whites of my eyes, and let me explain how we work together. And if that is right, and it's right for you, and I want to make sure it's right for you, I don't work with just anybody and everybody, only the people who I feel I can really help, then we'll organise 2 or 3 sessions and get the thing sorted. Okay? So why not send me that email now? Don't think any longer. Stop. Get online. Give me an email, and let's do some work together. If you really are interested in making deep changes, I really always suggest one-to-one. Yes, this Personal Development Unplugged podcast gives you all the tools, but let's get rid of the deep underlying issues so you can really make use of all the tools here. Anyway, that's enough from me. If you want it and you want to let go of that stuff really quickly, and you like me, and you'd like to work with me, then send me that email. If it's not for you, that's fine. Just keep listening and keep sharing. Okay? Anyway, I'll hear from you real soon, I'm sure. See you now.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.